Namaskar, Adab. I am Asif Beg, your host, back with Doordarshan with one very interesting episode. One very interesting episode with an interesting personality today who's going to inspire you. This person whom I'm going to introduce after a couple of minutes is the one who's been doing wonderful. He's on his toes in spite of pandemic. He was running around to make sure he gets the growth for Karnataka. Well, talking about the growth, we are straight giving you this episode from Bangalore. Bangalore, which is like the Silicon City IT hub of entire nation. While the growth of the country has been about in single digits, the growth of Bangalore, especially the IT sector, has been in double digit. Well, there has been an individual, a person who's working really hard to make sure the saga of the growth, the saga of Silicon City, the saga of more employment creation continues, and we stay up on the threshold. We've got one individual who's been working really hard. Well, before I bring you to him live, let's take a look at his profile.
Dr. C.N. Ashwathnarayan entered mainstream politics in 2004. He is a multifaceted personality and a firm believer of technology. He is an educationist, healthcare entrepreneur and philanthropist. Dr. C.N. Ashwathnarayan was inducted as a cabinet minister in the Bharatiya Janata Party government. He is the 10th Deputy Chief Minister of Karnataka. He is the Minister of Higher Education, Information Technology and Biotechnology and Science and Technology, Skill Development, Entrepreneurship and Livelihood in the Government of Karnataka. Dr. C.N. Ashwathnarayan is an MBBS graduate from KMC Manipal. He is the President of the Students' Union and later became the President of the Junior Doctors Association. He was elected as Senate and Syndicate member of RGUHS and Bangalore University. Dr. C.N. Ashwathnarayan is married to Srimati Shruti. He is a doting father of son Amog and daughter Akanksha. As a minister, Dr. Ashwathnarayan is determined to make Karnataka the premier state for technology-driven entrepreneurship and innovation. He showed his commitment to foster tech entrepreneurship in the state by successfully organizing a grand event in the form of the Bangalore Tech Summit. Under his leadership, the state government has also set up the Karnataka Innovation Authority, KIA, to empower startups and support their latest methods in the field of innovation. This is in addition to the launch of a vision group for startups to ensure constructive engagement with the startup ecosystem. The Ministry of Technical Education, Government of Karnataka, is actively involved in agreements with more than 20 countries on matters relating to fintech, AI, IoT and cybersecurity. The Karnataka Innovation Authority Act has been enacted, which provides for the unveiling of new innovative products in the framework of advanced law. About 11,900 students have been trained in electronic system design and manufacturing, and about 622 candidates have been called for employment. 93 startups have won Elevate Call 2 and 20 in Elevate Unnati. A sum of about 26.5 crore rupees has been awarded. The Karnataka government has been ranked number 1 in the India Innovation Index 2019 published by Niti Aayog. Combat COVID-19 Challenge was unveiled on March 30, 2020 at the Karnataka Startup Portal for the purpose of identifying innovative products and solutions for prevention and treatment for fighting the COVID-19 epidemic. A variety of startups at the Bio-Innovation Center in Bangalore to effectively combat COVID-19, and 6 such tools have been developed. A startup and incubation facility is built with plug-and-play infrastructure. Karnataka ITES Innovation Incentives L4 policy has been announced. Karnataka is globally recognized as the information technology IT, biotechnology BT, research and development R&D, and startup capital of the country, with Bengaluru being branded as the most dynamic city in the world and Silicon Valley of India. Bangalore was the first city in the country to host the IT event in 1998 and biotech event in the year 2001. BangaloreIT.com and Bangalore India Bio thus became the most sought after event for the global IT and biotech community to connect with India. In the year 2017, these 2 flagship events of India were co-located under the Bengaluru Tech Summit. STPI has played a seminal role in accomplishing India as an information technology superpower. It encourages, promotes and boosts software exports from India. STPI maintains internal engineering resources to provide consulting, training and implementation services. Karnataka Innovation and Technology Society KITS helps the Department of Electronics, IT, BT and S&T in facilitating and promoting the sectors in the state. KITS focuses on tapping Karnataka's large IT talent pool, functioning as a key driver for augmenting foreign investments and collaborations to enhance skill development, mutual industry facilitation, and encourage startups and MSMEs. Bengaluru has the 3rd highest number of startups amongst global cities. India has about 7,500 startups. The startups have been able to deliver most sought-after solutions to the users. These startups have picked up diverse issues, starting from local to global. Every year, they garner huge number of recognitions in any tech event that happen either in India or globally. Karnataka pioneered incubation. The state is still leading and continues to lead.
You know, when we're talking about startups, Bengaluru, Karnataka, then what I want to talk here today is about the personality, the person of the week. I had the good fortune of interacting, engaging with him over the last 2 years, but primarily during this pandemic, we got to experience that this person was an entrepreneur, was a startup like all of us here in Bengaluru, in Karnataka. He was on the streets every day talking to people, and it was very, very surprising for me, because I thought when it comes to ministers and high profile ministers, they will be talking from behind or and not getting there in the trenches. And he was a hero. He is a hero who was in the trenches with all of us, to the sad fact that he also got COVID and he recovered, because all our well wishes are with him.
We are talking about the Deputy Chief Minister of Karnataka. Ladies and gentlemen, we are privileged to have a person amongst us who's a hero in his constituency, who's turning out to be a hero in our Karnataka as well, and who slogs like anything to make sure he gets Bangalore on the top of any other cities. So, ladies and gentlemen, introducing to you Dr. C.N. Ashwathnarayan.
Namaskara. It's really an honor and privilege, as all of us have been witnessing a great transformation happening in our society, across the country, across the world. And particularly, if each and every place or city, if it can connect very effectively and make best use of the innovation or the changes, whatever is happening in the dynamic changes happening in the society, for the best of the society, it's very important. It is going to change the way we have been living for a better standards and better future. So Bangalore city is now a global city. It has got international recognition for the good work what is being done by our people, our youngsters, our technologists, innovators. We have been doing an extremely good job, which has been very well recognized across the world. I think they are the best in the world.
So talking about good jobs, sir, we've also been seeing it in different media channels and all. In spite of pandemic being there, you were on your toes. While we will get into the startup side, the IT side of it, what you envisage for the future for our nation, for our city as well. But as of now, want to figure out, didn't you have the fear of the pandemic, COVID? Why? What made you run around and make sure you work for the people?
So it was definitely a COVID-19 was a very challenging time, since it was a contagious disease, contact disease. That doesn't mean the challenges are there. We can't sit idly, sit in a comfort zone and allow the city or the entire system to go out of hands. All of us were facing real big challenges, but we need to come out with solution and ensure how best we can address the lives, and livelihood was very important. Along with lives, we need to have livelihood also. Without livelihood, we can't have lives.
Talking about the livelihoods.
So we need to work hand in hand, and we need to overcome all the challenges and be part of the mainstream. And it was very challenging time. For that to happen, as a leaders, we need to lead from the front. We can't sit behind and allow things to go in its own way. So we need to set example. Many a times, there are a lot of restrictions on each one of us. Even as a leader, you are not permitted to go to many of the places.
Perhaps, yes.
Yes, they were expecting the similar guidelines or the restriction which was on their each and every person. They were expecting the same to be on us, but still we were trying to go out of the way and ensure to create a lot of confidence among the people that nothing is going wrong, and we can face this COVID-19 with all the strength of the society and with a good leadership. We can overcome the challenges like our Honorable Prime Minister, who has been leading from the front. With all the challenges, we were able to do well because the leadership gave us all the confidence and best possible things, guidelines. The entire guidelines, a common guidelines was given from the Government of India, which was adapted by each and every state. It made really a commonness was brought among all the states. Otherwise, each state would have had their own different strategy.
Right.
That would have created a lot of conflict between state to state. Having an understanding for each and every issue, it would have been really challenging. Probably technology played a very big role. The technology in COVID-19, it was all about the technology.
Right. We had the war room also created, I think, Karnataka.
Even for all possible, for the governance or the management of COVID-19 or for the treatment, for all possible things, the telemedicine, the teleconsultation and the facilitation, and for all the transfer of all the benefits and welfare program, technology played a very good role.
So talking about the program, while I have one point to bring out about the livelihoods with the recent news which has come up, and also about the program, you had, I think you created a tech summit in the past, and which turned out to be really successful, and we also figured out a lot of employments and investments were created. How did you see that program, and what do you envisage in terms of creating a lot more programs like that?
The Bangalore Tech Summit has been happening for the past 2 decades, and it's the most happening event, and it is a place where we can showcase to the entire world the kind of talent we have in the city of Bangalore or the Karnataka or in our country or from any part. It's a place for all of us to converge irrespective of where we belong. The most important thing is how the talent or the innovations what the people have done, or the kind of changes what they have brought in, has to be shared with each one of us, how best we can take it forward and adapt in each and every profession or walks of life. That's very important. And Bangalore Tech Summit is something where more than 25 countries they participate, and very good number of delegates and with very good background who are completely involved in various development, product development, GCCs, GICs, startups, and the most who is who will be part of this event. And it is a very prestigious event for the Karnataka government as well as for the entire country. Even this event, this year event, it was inaugurated by our Honorable Prime Minister, and we had Prime Minister from different countries who were part of the program, from Australia and as well as the Switzerland. Vice President was part of this program, and we have very good cooperation among the global innovation partners, and it has made a huge difference.
I want to ask you, what is your mission with the KDM? What are you doing there?
Basically, now KDM, Karnataka Digital Economy Mission, it's really an innovative, exclusive platform. It's first of its kind in our country, probably even across the world. I am sure that no other country would have built such a platform, because basically getting industry as part of the government, which doesn't normally happen in any other country. They look at them as conflict of interest. They try to keep them away. Here, the place where all the representative of the premier institutions, they're part of the KDM, like NASCOM, ISA, ASCHAM, and from the government, the most senior most officers who are heading most important department like finance department, commerce and industry, and ITBT, principal secretary, and the skill development secretary, they're all part of this committee.
Yeah.
They work together. Imagine a private person is a chairman of the Karnataka Digital Economy Mission, chaired by an industry. They are all members.
Yeah.
Where normally the industry is to normally meet a minister or the concerned department secretary. They have to come with their suggestions. They have to take an appointment, wait for him, put across their views, whether it has been, how it has been taken forward. They'll have their own doubts. There will be a lot of suggestions, because it is not just limited to one or two. Routinely, there are many issues to be solved or taken up, or new policy to be brought in. What kind of dynamic changes? It's happening second to second, not even days and months.
Yeah.
It happens in minutes. So in this background, that connect has to be very, very strong between the government and industry to facilitate and ensure that growth to happen, that collaboration has to happen very strongly. So we took this opportunity of establishing the Karnataka Digital Economy Mission. Probably this is really revolutionary, and it can ensure all the verticals, let it be IT, ITS services, startup and innovation, ESDM policy, beyond Bangalore, many more initiatives. It will be like a bridge as well as a place where all the industries, people can sit in their own comfort zone and talk to the people in government. Along with them, they'll be part of that board. They can come out with all the suggestions. They don't have to look elsewhere. They have to look inside itself. It's up to them now to perform. They don't have to blame anywhere. They don't have to look elsewhere. So this is a wonderful opportunity given to them to ensure that whatever changes or the growth is happening can sustain and grow in much more bigger way. As you've been rightly pointing out, from 52 billion rising to 300 billion. It's something 6 times.
You've said that, and we all have to
6 times growth. It will definitely happen. In this direction, we have taken up all the measure what needs to be done. The talent is there, ecosystem is there. Probably the entire world's best talent is here, right here in Karnataka, that too in Bangalore. They are the main stakeholder. They can now decide what needs to be done. They don't have to look up and wait. What will be the stand of the government? They'll be part of the government, and all the things can happen across the table. It can happen across the table, and all the decisions can be taken. It will send a big signal to the entire world.
Yeah.
Entire world, it's a big message. We are going to change the way the things have been done.
Karnataka Digital Economy Mission. Objective: to increase the digital economy of the state, to increase the digital economy contribution to GSDP to 30%. Aim to attract investments for IT, ITES sectors, to create 10 lakh jobs by 2025. Key points: more industry friendly, founded on a public-private partnership model, 51% stakes to industry associations. 5 verticals: IT products and services, innovation and startup, ESDM, Beyond Bengaluru, Talent Accelerator. Focus: to improve connectivity even to the remotest parts, provide 24/7 electricity, reduce rural-urban divide, establish needed infrastructure. Vision: to help Karnataka to reach the goal of $150 billion in IT exports, to become a $300 billion economy by 2025.
One thing which newly happened was KIA, which will support the startups and all. Karnataka Innovation Authority, which was created. How's it going? And if I am a startup, if I'm starting off with my company, how are we setting up the base? How easily is it approachable? I mean, if any guy, he's got a brilliant idea, like in AI field or something, but it becomes really hard for him to approach. How have we eased it, and is KIA playing a vital role in that?
Sir, basically there are a lot of limitations in the laws. It prohibits many of the new things because the existing laws don't facilitate the new changes to happen.
True.
So for them to, facilitate the whatever limitations they have been facing under the law, we need to have facilitate alternatively for them to bring in new changes, so that none of these laws should prohibit or limit them to bring in new ideas, new innovation. For that to happen, we are trying to establish under the Karnataka Innovation Authority the regulatory sandboxes.
Right.
The regulatory sandboxes allows new things to be emerge for the innovation to happen within a limited territory or a limited area. They've been allowed to do what they want, even without any limitations of the law. Even though there are limitations in the law, you can overcome and you can do things which will be exempted. It will be exempted under the law. Exemption is given for them, even though there is not permissible under the law. So that many of these new things, whatever new things have come up, new innovations have come up, it was all not allowed under the present laws. Then later on, we brought in the changes in the law. Eased it, and we brought in new laws where it can integrate and it can be accommodated. So that kind of a hostile environment, it becomes very challenging for them to do things. It is against the law. They can be put behind the bar. They can be put into a lot of inconvenience. They have to face all kind of legal charges, legal problems. So that should not happen. See, they are working for the interest of the society. They need to have a space, the regulatory sandbox, where they can be allowed to overcome all these limitations of law.
Karnataka Innovation Authority. Chairman, Chief Minister of Karnataka, B.S. Yediyurappa. Objective: to support the latest methods in the field of innovation. Key points: created regulatory sandboxes in the state, open for innovators across the country. The innovators must have business or operations in the state. Up to 2 years of testing period for the product or technologies in a controlled environment. Regulatory sandboxes, set up through applications from innovators as well as by KIA itself, to enable startups to get exemption from state laws which may impede innovations. First, non-sector specific, all sector, regulatory sandbox in the world. First non-sector specific regulatory sandbox in the world. Improves lives and livelihoods of citizens of Karnataka through direct and indirect employment.
ಸರ್, ಇದನ್ನೇ ಹಲವಾರು ಕನ್ನಡದಲ್ಲಿ ನಮ್ಮ ಪ್ರೇಕ್ಷಕರು ಕೂಡ ನೋಡ್ತಿದ್ದಾರೆ. ಹಳ್ಳಿಗಳಲ್ಲಿ ಕೂಡ ತುಂಬ ಜನ ಇರ್ತಾರೆ, ಅವ್ರ ಹತ್ರ ಕೂಡ ಬ್ರಿಲಿಯಂಟ್ ಐಡಿಯಾಸ್ ಇರುತ್ತೆ ಸ್ಟಾರ್ಟಪ್ ಆಗಿ. ಅದನ್ನೇ ಕನ್ನಡದಲ್ಲಿ ಸ್ವಲ್ಪ ಟ್ರಾನ್ಸ್ಲೇಟ್ ಮಾಡಿದ್ರೆ ಗೊತ್ತಿಲ್ಲ ಎಲ್ಲಿಂದ ಯಾವ ಸ್ಟಾರ್ಟಪ್ ಬರ್ಬೋದು, ಅವ್ರಿಗೆ ನಾವು ಕೊಡ್ತಿರುವಂಥ ಸಹಕಾರ ಸಪೋರ್ಟು ಏನೇನಿದೆಯೋ ಕನ್ನಡದಲ್ಲಿ ಹೇಳಿದ್ರೆ ನಮ್ಮ ಪ್ರೇಕ್ಷಕರಿಗೆ ಸ್ವಲ್ಪ ಖುಷಿ ಆಗುತ್ತೆ.
ಯುವ ಸ್ನೇಹಿತರೆ, ಮುಖ್ಯವಾಗಿ ನಮ್ಮ ಆವಿಷ್ಕಾರಗಳು, ಹೊಸದಾದಂಥ ಆವಿಷ್ಕಾರಗಳು ಸಾಕಷ್ಟು ಮಾಡಬೇಕಾದಾಗ ಸಾಮಾನ್ಯವಾಗಿ ಕಾನೂನಲ್ಲಿ ಅವಕಾಶ ಇರೋಲ್ಲ. ಇಲ್ಲದ ಅವಕಾಶದಲ್ಲೂ ಹೊಸತನವನ್ನು ತರಬೇಕಾದ್ರೆ ಇವರಿಗೆ ಅವಕಾಶ ಮಾಡಿಕೊಡುವಂಥದ್ದು ಆಗಬೇಕಾಗತ್ತೆ. ಕಾನೂನಲ್ಲಿರುವಂಥ ಅಡೆತಡೆಗಳನ್ನೆಲ್ಲ ಅದನ್ನು ಏನದು ರಿಲ್ಯಾಕ್ಸೇಷನ್ ಕೊಟ್ಟು ಅದಕ್ಕೆ ಅವಕಾಶವನ್ನು ಮಾಡಿಕೊಟ್ಟು ಹೊಸತನವನ್ನು ತರಲಿಕ್ಕೆ ಕಾನೂನಲ್ಲಿ ಅವಕಾಶವನ್ನು ಮಾಡಿಕೊಡುವಂಥದ್ದು, ಸೀಮಿತವಾದಂಥ ಪ್ರದೇಶಗಳಲ್ಲಿ ಸೀಮಿತವಾದಂಥ ಸ್ಥಳದಲ್ಲಿ ಹೊಸ ಆವಿಷ್ಕಾರಗಳನ್ನು ಮಾಡಲಿಕ್ಕೆ ಅವಕಾಶವನ್ನು ಮಾಡಿಕೊಟ್ಟು ಅದು ಯಶಸ್ವಿ ಆದರೆ, ಅದು ಸೂಕ್ತವಾಗಿದ್ದರೆ ಅದನ್ನು ಮೇನ್ ಸ್ಟ್ರೀಮಿಗೆ ತರಲಿಕ್ಕೆ ಕಾನೂನಲ್ಲಿ ಬದಲಾವಣೆಗಳನ್ನು ತರ್ತೀವಿ. ಅಲ್ಲಿವರೆಗೂ ಏನು ಕಾನೂನಲ್ಲಿ ಅಡೆತಡೆಗಳಿದೆ ಅದನ್ನ ಏನು ರಿಲ್ಯಾಕ್ಸ್ ಮಾಡಿಕೊಟ್ಟು, ಅದನ್ನು ರಿಲ್ಯಾಕ್ಸೇಷನ್ ಮಾಡಿಕೊಟ್ಟು ಅವ್ರಿಗೆ ಹೊಸ ಪ್ರಯತ್ನಗಳನ್ನು ಆವಿಷ್ಕಾರಗಳನ್ನು ಮಾಡಲಿಕ್ಕೆ ಅವಕಾಶವನ್ನು ಮಾಡಿಕೊಡ್ಲಿಕ್ಕೆ ಇನ್ನು ನಮ್ಮ ರೆಗ್ಯುಲೇಟರಿ ಸ್ಯಾಂಡ್ ಬಾಕ್ಸ್ನಲ್ಲಿ ಇದು ಅವಕಾಶ ಆಗಿರ್ತದೆ. ಅದೇ ಕರ್ನಾಟಕ ಇನೋವೇಷನ್ ಅಥಾರಿಟಿ ಅಂತ, ಇದರ ಅಧ್ಯಕ್ಷರಾಗಿ ಸನ್ಮಾನ್ಯ ಮುಖ್ಯಮಂತ್ರಿಗಳು ಇರ್ತಾರೆ. ಮತ್ತು ಇದರ ಜೊತೆಯಲ್ಲೇ ವಿಶ್ವದಲ್ಲಿ ಬೇರೆ ಬೇರೆ ಭಾಗದಲ್ಲಿ ಕೆಲವೇ ಕ್ಷೇತ್ರಕ್ಕೆ ಇದು ರೆಗ್ಯುಲೇಟರಿ ಸ್ಯಾಂಡ್ ಬಾಕ್ಸ್ ಇದೆ. ಇಲ್ಲಿ ನಾವು ಎಲ್ಲ ಕ್ಷೇತ್ರದಲ್ಲೂ ಈ ಒಂದು ರೆಗ್ಯುಲೇಟರಿ ಸ್ಯಾಂಡ್ ಬಾಕ್ಸ್ನ ಎಸ್ಟಾಬ್ಲಿಷ್ ಮಾಡಲಿಕ್ಕೆ ಅವಕಾಶ ಮಾಡಿಕೊಟ್ಟಿದ್ದೀವಿ. ಪ್ರಾಬ್ಲಿ ನೋ ಅದರ್ ಕಂಟ್ರಿ ದೇ ಹವ್ ಅಲೌಡ್ ಇನ್ ಆಲ್ ದ ಸೆಕ್ಟರ್ಸ್. Probably they have limited to few sectors, fintech or some of the sectors. But here we can have regulatory sandbox for all the sectors. We have been allowed to establish.
So one point you spoke about in the recent improvements which has been happening, creating about 60 lakh employments through the startup culture to the growth culture, whatever you've been working towards. Is it, I've got a lot of questions revolving around that 60 lakh employments. So the first one, is it saturated or limited only towards the urban side, or is it applicable even to the rural side as well? What is it you have thought in that regards?
Sir, it can happen anywhere depending on the person or the organization where it is established. So depending on those people who are going to create innovation or the changers who can bring new solution, technology, depending on where it is happening. So basically most of the time it happens in some places where the ecosystem is very well established. Normally the tendency is to, everything adds up to the same place. But we are trying to take it and distribute across the state.
That's a good
with various incentives and initiatives and facilitating many changes to happen, and many of the incentives are only attraction. And with the COVID-19 has become a very good opportunity. It has come out as a very good opportunity for extending all this ecosystem across any place it can be done. The COVID-19 has shown us you can do all kind of innovation, the job we can work from anywhere and any place. During the COVID-19, many people work from remote places. So in this background, now things can be done anywhere. That has shown a good example. That's a way forward. We are expecting people to do things from wherever they have been originally belonging or where they are comfortable. They can work from there or start their own initiatives. They can start their own startups. They can establish their own companies. They can come with whatever new things they want to do. Any kind of entrepreneurship is welcome. So we have been encouraging our people to do things from their respective places. We want the entire state to develop.
So the government has created a wonderful platform for you guys to turn your idea into the real things happening.
I want to ask you two things. One being, from here, What is it about the Karnataka ethos which makes this a powerful state or innovation hub? And the second thing, what you asked, is that how do you think that we can take this to the different parts of the state?
Yeah.
Like,
See, it's an excellent question, and more so throwing a lot of optimism and the way forward and the better future, how the city has gained the international recognition, and it's been a futuristic city where much more things can happen. It's a good background for us. So the entire world is keeping up a lot of hopes on the city of Bangalore and the state of Karnataka. In this direction, we have been an excellent state. We have been very friendly, and we have been always welcoming people from different parts of the world or different parts of the country. And in this state, we have a lot of diversity. We respect talent, and people who have given their sweat and blood for the society. They have done excellent things. Many of these people, more than our own people, many of the people from outside the state, they have been, working for the betterment of this city and the state much more than us. I have seen personally when I started working very closely, I do really appreciate the way they have been doing things for our state and our city, and more so through this city and state, they have contributed for the growth of this country and for the entire world. And more so, if you look at the number of institutions in the state of Karnataka, they are also a big contributing factor. And we have been, trying to increase the quality among these institutions to keep up pace with the demands of the industry. The industry ready is the most important. See, because the quality, always the quality of the input or the manpower or the resource matters a lot.
yeah.
So we are now trying to have a well-rounded personality, not just only academically. We need to have a very good personality who has got very good combination of social aspect, sports, culture, and a good communication, opening up, being adventurous, being an excellent bubbling personality to take up any kind of stress strain, and with the energy and the ambition to do much more things. Just not academics is not just sufficient.
Yeah.
Even with academic, a hands-on experience is very important, and we are now trying to collaborate with the industry. The industry has also come forward to support our institutions in a very much bigger way. The internship, earlier it used to be for namesake. Now we are trying to make it mandatory for 1 year, minimum for 1 year. The mandatory internship will be there. Along with the learning what happens in the institution, the industry collaboration will change the way they are going to learn. The entire dimension of the exposure will completely change. And more so, the industry will also get, during their internship itself, they can get their required manpower or the staff or the people, innovators or the technologies which is required for their respective companies. Even the companies were complaining, they require 2 years to make them industry ready, and the kind of money they spend them to scale up to that level, to accelerate to that level, it's been challenging. And more so now we are trying to work very closely with the industry to get the talent acceleration. Talent acceleration is something very crucial and important, and we are also sensible and sensitive to the industry requirement. We are trying to work very closely day on day, and the institution, we are trying to bring it much more closer, and we have come out with many center of excellence, new age incubators, technology TPIs have been established, many more, much more facilities like this, and beyond Bangalore, having co-working space, incubators, and Elevate. Elevate is something really, it has been the most successful program where we give money. Grants have been given for their initially when they are in a still growing stage, early stages where nobody is there for them.
Yeah.
So this is all this kind of initiatives has made a big difference, and more so we are still trying to work very strongly, even though it has been very conducive for the growth and for the, along with what else can be done, we are looking forward as a government and as a system we are trying to address.
I want to ask you, today Karnataka is the leader not just in India when it comes to innovation and technology. And it's coming from a place of humility. It's not, it is leading. What are you thinking and what is your ministry thinking under your leadership in terms of technologies like AI?
Now we are Government of India, Department of Science and Technology and Indian Institute of Science and Government of Karnataka, we have come forward and we are establishing a artificial intelligence park in the Indian Institute of Science, which will be a big facilitator for the emerging technology, particularly in artificial intelligence and robotics, driverless vehicle. All these things are happening, and more so with regard to the IoT or machine learning. Many of these emerging areas have been strongly promoted by state of Karnataka, and even in private by the companies also. We are trying to know what best can be done by the government to encourage the new emerging areas. We are trying to do our best, and we need to do much more. Also, we are trying to, connect and promote whatever best can be done. And artificial intelligence and many more center of excellence have been. We are trying to establish, and the State Institute of Eminence also we are trying to establish in Bangalore. And many more institutions like IIIT, IIT institutions have come up in the state of Karnataka.
Tell us about this, because I think you would be that way a pioneer in terms of the ministry here for getting different people together, because we're not seeing that.
Yeah, basically this is a place for the government to facilitate, to recognize the talent. The real people who are contributing needs to be recognized. They need to be allowed to do much more things. That's more important. See, recognition itself will make a huge difference. Recognizing all their good work and facilitating, coming out with new policy like engineering R&D policy, ESDM policy. ESDM policy is the best in the country. And engineering R&D policy, we are the first people to come out with the engineering R&D policy in a very big way. And beyond Bangalore is something we are trying to, recognize even a person who's in a very remote place like any village. There are many good things are happening. We need to show that narrative, how a person in a remote place, how he is contributing, how he is coming out with a new product or new solution, or the entrepreneurship. In any place, it can happen anywhere. We need to show that stories, to the success stories to the people, so that they get a lot of confidence. Not necessarily they have to come to the Bangalore or some other place. We can do it from anywhere. And the people who is doing things from here also needs to be appreciated. They've been leading from front. They've given their life, their soul, heart and soul, and their time and their energy, and they're doing it passionately. It is not just for money or anything. They've been doing things passionately. So in the government, if the government is sensitive and very responding, that itself will send a very big message. What they expect from the government is, are they listening to us? Are they hearing to us? Are they responding? Hear and respond. That itself will send a very big positive message. And we are trying our best to facilitate in all levels. We have been, openly making statements to the people in the industry. See, what may come, if you are facing any challenge, let us know. We'll come to your rescue, and we are willing to work for you. And we have established a multinational cell. In future days, we want to even, facilitate each and every big companies, for each company, we want to give a PRO who can, work on their behalf from government. We want to, offer to them. Not their person coming and working for the contacting or reaching out to the government. From the government, we want to reach out to them.
That's new. That's first. That's going to be first.
Yes. We want to, tell them we are at your service. We want to help you out. We want to serve. We are not here to harass or anything, create obstacle. We are here to appreciate your good work.
That gets me to ask you this question. You are very responsive on Twitter. Do you handle your account or someone manages it for you?
Yes, most of the time it will be handled on my behalf with my persons, and in consultation I give the approvals, and sometimes I do it on my own.
Because very responsive.
Because there are too many events and things, and routinely I give the finally, because we prepare and I give the consent and approval. And later on it is released or
because
shared with the others.
No, because I'm saying this and I'm going on record and people can watch your Twitter handle, because it is responsive. It responds what you said, that we're listening. I thought that during the pandemic time, to all the queries, the account was responding very quickly.
Yeah, definitely we need to work. This main intention of being in a social media platform is to connect with the people, to share their feelings and respond. As and when we have to respond as a government, we need to respond, being their representative, taking a big responsibility. We can't stay away.
Yeah.
We can't afford to stay away. We need to be their voice. We need to be very responsible and connect with the people. Through the social media, we can connect with all of them. So most of them, they're on the social media. Now social media has become having a huge presence, and we need to reach out to them.
Yeah, yeah.
So talking about government being really approachable for the startups and all, anyone who wants to start with a new thing, are we trying to look at something like what Telangana government has done? They've given the TSI pass, wherein they take that pass. If that pass is there, the government would do the needful, approach them and solve the issue or set it up, documentation and all is done in 15 days. If the government doesn't reciprocate to it, it is deemed as it is done. So the person, whoever is like setting up a small shop, or if he's starting up with a big company or whatever, he can do it. So that's something which is set. Do we have something in similar lines, or do we have something better which you are looking at in the near future?
Yes, sir. Already we have come out with a lot of reforms in particularly industrial sector. Karnataka Industrial Facilitation Act. In this Facilitation Act, you don't even have to take permission. You just have to make one application to the department that you are coming out with so-and-so project. The high-powered committee will give you all the permission. Then you can take, before you get into the production, you can take those approvals. Until then, you can start the construction, you can do the planning, construction, do what you want. Before you could start the production, you need to get all the approvals. Until then, you will have all the sufficient time. This kind of approvals is not existing in any other state. Some of the states is just having, 1 or 2 states they are having for the small and medium scale industries. For the large scale industry, they don't have this kind of norms, or the facilitation is there existing. And we have come out with a lot of reforms, ease of doing business, the ease of approvals. Earlier it used to be very cumbersome. We are trying to simplify every possible things, and we are trying to reach out to them whenever they come across any challenges. Much more than that, we are also trying to provide incentives to most of the companies if they are establishing. For example, in ESDM, we provide almost 45% incentives given for the plant and machinery.
Yeah.
And even for the production linked incentives are there, PLI is there.
Right.
Turnover, based on the turnover itself, we give almost, we'll be reaching 6%.
So this takes me to another question. There are different states, different cities in the country, our country especially, who's got different potentials. But then why do we see most of the companies clogging in to our state itself, Karnataka, like Tesla, one of the biggest thing which has happened, and lot more companies? We don't see the graph of the IT startups going down ever. It has just been increasing. Do you say that the credit should go out to the government, who's eased out things for the startups, for the new companies coming up?
See, basically, if I'll give first credit to the talent of the youngsters. First credit, I should be very frank enough. I recognize the talent or the ecosystem which is existing in our city. And second, it is to the government, because the government worked very closely with all the industry. This is one state very exceptionally, the industry and the government, we share excellent relationship, let it be academically or in the industry or the government. You can't see the same elsewhere in any other state. The kind of relationship openly, they know each other, we know each other.
Right, yeah.
Even the chief minister will be knowing most of the top people, top-notch people who have been doing excellent job. And we are the first state to even to come out with a vision group. Vision group for IT, ITS, biotechnology, for startups, and Karnataka Digital Economy Mission, Innovation Authority, ESDM policy. Many of these policies which are not there in any of the states, we have such an excellent relationship. First, I should recognize the talent. So the talent is what is making a big difference. I give them all the credit to the talented people.
That's one.
We have been working relentlessly. They've been working. I'm really very impressed. Really very impressed, and I don't know how much ever I say or appreciate them, it is less.
You know, but I have to tell you on behalf of some of the talent, at least what we have conversation in the startup ecosystem, that it is also encouraging to have someone like you in the ministry. Sir, I have one question, one last question, before I would ask you some personal questions, is, you know, Prime Minister Modi's vision of $5 trillion economy. It's bold, it's ambitious, it's clearly out there for the world. I want to ask you, your ministry, your government here in Karnataka, how are you looking at this mission of the Prime Minister and what are you doing?
What our Honorable Prime Minister has announced about the 5 trillion economy, which is achievable and it will be achieved. What is my ambition is, out of that 5 trillion, 1 trillion should be from Karnataka.
That's nice.
That is, we should have that lion's share. I am pretty confident, to be very frank with you, looking at this kind of talent in the state of Karnataka or Bangalore, I am really quite impressed. I think we can do wonders. We can cross even 1 trillion. I don't think so. Even 1 trillion can be easily crossed by the state of Karnataka, and this can really happen. And only thing is, we need to work strongly towards that. Once it starts opening up, I don't think so anything can stop us. It can be much more. When it can become 1 trillion, it can go beyond all these numbers.
Yeah.
Probably will be the most happening state in the entire world. As you rightly said in the beginning of the conversation, it can be the most happening place in the entire world, not just country, in the entire world. Probably looking at Tesla, the presence of Tesla, it has come because of the talent.
True.
It is only for the R&D. Now they come, initially it is for the R&D, it is for the talent, it is for the ecosystem. In most of the Fortune 500 companies, among them 400 are present here, all the tech giants are here, all the who is who, every possible company's presence is in India. Let it be from Korea, Samsung, let it be from China, Huawei, it is in Bangalore. Let it be from any country, sir.
80% of big startups.
Yeah, all possible companies, R&D is here.
It's here. Right.
Product develops here. When it comes to manufacturing, we miss out some of the times. When it comes to the manufacturing, it goes some other places also. We have a share. But R&D is everything is
We
here.
are the leaders.
We are the leaders. So in the days to come, we need to, look at the product much more. The product development also should happen here, and the manufacturing also should happen here. So with these things, imagine, where we will be, what can happen here. And in agri-tech also, most of the 50% presence of all the agri-tech companies are in Karnataka. If agri-revolution happens in the state of Karnataka, imagine the kind of quality we are going to make the difference in the society. And for 50 to 60% people are dependent on agri-tech, agriculture. So agri-tech is going to make a huge difference. In edu-tech also we have a big presence. In education itself, we can transform each and every person. If he is able to take care of himself, it's a big revolution.
True.
They don't depend on anybody. If they are able to take care of themselves, where's the question, dependency doesn't arise. Even in medtech, if you are able to provide the digital revolution, digital healthcare, we can ensure that each and every person gets a very good quality healthcare. So all possible, all the emerging areas, the social sector, all possible sectors, it's been addressed through technology, even in the governance. Now we are trying to be on the tip of the finger, we are trying to provide everything. If that is the case, there is no question of convergence also. All the welfare is distributed through the technology platform, and there all services, welfare services, everything is been taken care. So probably if the same thing continues in a much more stronger way and everybody starts adapting in much more bigger way, all the departments, all the people, if they start adapting in much more bigger way, the transformation can happen in 5 years. Entire transformation can happen, and we can become the most progressive state, and we can cross 1 trillion easily.
1 trillion plus.
And it can be much more than.
Yeah, so
I'm very confident. I am very confident looking at the talents.
So here we have a very passionate, visionary, a minister who's sitting with us, who says that out of 5 trillions, which our Prime Minister, Honorable Prime Minister has announced about, and he's really confident about achieving 1 trillion plus. And his expression shows it is possible. Are we also looking at how we would develop the commutation of the people?
There are many ways of addressing this issue. The one will be public transportation system, other one is physically walkable footpaths, or making the city high density area, and the right CDP or the RMP, revised master plan, or a city development plan with a right solution, we can address all these challenges. Probably we need to come with a right policy we can overcome, and along with the now in the COVID-19 situation, we were able to work from anywhere, and we can spread out from wherever we have been living, we can work from that place, and we can have a dynamic 24/7 spread out timings, and we can make maximum use of the available infrastructure, the available roads. So for that, everything now, the technology allows all these things to happen very easily, probably when the congestion, when the right time for all us to
So brilliant. Great.
distribute the timings. See, distributing is very important.
Yeah.
You know, all of us are trying to work in the same time, creating peak hours. This is really challenging.
So I think we're looking at segregating the working hours also in the near future, like
in working
most
in
of the
various
countries
different
around
shift
opting.
different shift also is.
Well, we
I
have
have a-
5 minutes
yes.
now, so thought we'll go to some personal questions or somebody, you know, like out of the box. Imagine you're not a minister, you're like a superhero. And this is personal, being very light. You're the superhero and you have a magic wand. And if you just dream of Karnataka, if you just dream of Bangalore, with all the powers possible with you, what is it you would have seen Karnataka as?
So first and foremost, every possible sector is important, and making everybody law-abiding citizen is most important.
Yeah.
If we make everybody law-abiding, that itself will solve most of the problems. See, everybody has to abide by the law. If that is done, every possible job, every concern, every challenges can be addressed very easily. We don't have to do anything more super. There's no other magic wand. The only one wand is be a law-abiding, respect law, and look at the solutions. Let us all work together and be together.
So with the right law, since we already have a good talent, so that's a combination
That's
of
a
it.
very
and
nice answer.
actually,
Very nice.
I was thinking
Yes.
what
I
is the
think you
answer
should
he
talk
would come up with.
this. We don't need a one. We need commitment. We need,
If that is done, I think that's where things go wrong. That's
Yeah.
where I've been seeing,
yeah.
all of us have to come with one unanimity, that is be a law-abiding. All of us, let us respect law
Yeah.
and be part of it. Then the problem doesn't arise and everything goes very smoothly.
Yeah. Yeah. Very
As a representative,
It's a
that is
very
what I
smart
see.
answer indeed. I was
think it's a
expecting
very
something,
deep
out of the
answer.
box you'll come up with, but then you were like, okay, diplomatically, rightly you brought
I
it
thought
out
it's a
very
very
well.
deep answer.
Kudos to you. Actually, deep one.
Yeah, it's a deep answer. It's a good, authentic answer.
So while you spend so much time for the society, for the people and all, now getting to your personal side of it, do you give time to your family as well? And what does your family say about this? You spending so much of time for the life of the people, others.
Basically, even before getting into politics, I took all their consent, concurrence. So, being in public life, it is difficult to, have much of time for the private life,
Yeah.
personal life. It's difficult. But even then, we have to compromise for the. Once you are here, you need to work here. You need to, do your best, and you can't prioritize your own personal life here. But you can do whatever small way as you are a responsible. Since we have a family, it is a duty also to take care of them, give the preference and give the priority. That's also a duty as a husband, as a son to a father and mother, and for the children, for my children. It's my duty to take care of them, make them a good people, good citizen, good human being. Making them a good human being also is my responsibility.
Right.
Being a parent,
Leaving a good
you know,
legacy behind.
a legacy. When we have been doing for the society, if you don't do it for your own family also, you'll be looked down.
Nice.
In the history also, you'll not be, appreciated if you're not able to take care of the family also.
Yeah.
But always I keep suggesting to each and every person, we need to, because politics has been so much, it has become a open box, and it happens even in your personal, even the bedrooms also, you will not be able.
A doctor to a politician.
It is open anywhere and everywhere. Trying to be different in public life, it is difficult. People are not much used to these things, and they expect you to be everywhere. So this is over the time we are trying to, trying to make people understand, put it across more efficiently, more effectively. We are trying to put across, trying to make them also understand we have got our own space, allow us to live our own life also.
Yeah.
That I am trying to do it very effectively and successfully. I am able to do it in my own life.
You know, what I like is with humility and with a smile through it all. Question to Sir, before we end, I have this question and I'm sure everyone would love to hear, and youngsters in the state, what is your dream? What's your vision 10 years down the line in digital space? Where do you?
I completely believe in innovation, technology and entrepreneurship, which has been a solution. It has made a huge difference, which I have seen in the past 1 or 2 decades, how it has changed, and how that divide, the digital divide, is not existing between the rich and poor. It has been available for even the poor and the rich, and more so it has benefited the poor than a rich.
Yeah.
Actually, the perception is other way around. But I keep telling all the time, see, the poor who are not, the voice was never heard, we can get their voice heard now. The equality, inclusion and opportunity, they are able to get in a very big way. We need to support and promote the technology so that each and every person, let it be in the remotest place, we can connect with them and facilitate, and all the concerns of society, let it be with regard to the environment, let it be with regard to the quality of life, or governance, or the social utilities, let it be healthcare, education, we'll be able to provide the best of the best because of the technology. We can reach out the best things can be given to each and every person. Otherwise, it will be just limited to the elite people.
Yeah.
So the same facility can be availed by each and every person. Let it be entertainment, let it be culture, let it be preservation of language, culture, dharma. Everything can happen very effectively through the technology, and way forward adapting this and promoting much more strongly will benefit each one of us. So each one of us will be engaged in our own activities. Each one of us can be in our own activity. That doesn't mean it will disturb any one of us our job. Let it be artisan, let it be hospitality, tourism, agriculture, industry, manufacturing, healthcare. Every possible sector we can engage and increase the quality. It should not be just limited to few areas or few places. It can be seen across the state.
Yeah.
Let it be any place. Now we are seeing this kind of good quality, good services, good facility only in some areas. We can see everywhere. That is my vision. In next 10 years, we need to ensure everybody gets a good education, good health care, good facility. All utilities should be available anywhere, any place. The quality of infrastructure should be good, and the environmental concern also we need to address. We need to coexist with all kind of creatures, and we need to allow them to live as well as live. We can also live in a good and better way. I think that's a way forward, and having a good economy, good manufacturing, good facility, and competing with the entire world can happen very much more strongly through this, adhering and promoting the technology and the skills, the quality, the pursuit of knowledge, the pursuit of quality should be the motto for each and every person. That should become the culture. That should be the way forward. Pursuit of excellence, pursuit of knowledge. This should be the most key area, and coexistence and respecting each and everybody's diversity, culture should be respected and accepted. Being tolerant, resilient is all part of this, my ecosystem, what ecosystem I am expecting. All these things can be established by promoting a right environment, a right ecosystem. This can happen.
And I think we really enjoyed spending good time with you, and entire world is watching you. Thank you so much for sharing those good thoughts with us. It's indeed a pleasure.
I would, for everyone, this was not just a conversation. I think it has given us a lot of points to think, to contemplate. And what's more, he's saying and he's urging all of us to be law-abiding. He doesn't need a magic wand. What he wants is you, I, and all of us together. And he's there listening, championing, and standing behind us. Great honor to be talking to you. We are very thankful to have you as a minister.
Thank you so much, Shraddha.
I
Thanks,
mean-
Asif. Thanks,
Thank you,
Asif.
sir.
And we are trying to create, very positive environment and creating a lot of hopes for the people. We need to promote. The need is there, 100%. We need to promote technology and adapting innovation and entrepreneurship. That is the way forward. That is going to create the entire environment and the system.
Namaskar, thank you, Sat Sri Akal, with DD Chandana signing off. Asif Beg, Shraddha Sharma, and Deputy Chief Minister Ashwathnarayan sir. Thank you. Have a great time.